Welcome back to our herbicide concept demonstration site near Greenville, Mississippi. As you can see, looking down the field, things have progressed nicely over the course of the last 4 weeks at this location. The left 4 rows, as you look down the field, are your 4 rows that have received your pre-emergence residual herbicide application at planting, and the right 4 rows with the very tall and dense Palmer amaranth populations received no pre-emergence application at planting. We've reached the point in this demonstration where we can begin picking out those systems within each technology platform that offer us the most effective level of weed control. Before we begin picking out individual plots and individual systems, let's begin with this question. What do we want a weed control system to offer? Of course, number one is efficacy. It must control the weeds that we have to deal with in our fields. But number two is probably almost equally as important, is that we want the crop canopy to help us in that weed control mission. We would like to have a system that not only offers very efficacious control of the weeds, but allows the crop canopy to grow and develop and close at a fast rate, therefore allowing that crop canopy to suppress subsequent flushes of weeds. Let's first take a look at a glyphosate tolerant weed control system. The plot that you are looking at is a plot that received a pre-emergence application of Trivence herbicide at planting, followed by a post-emergence application of glyphosate plus a PPO inhibiting herbicide approximately 23 days after planting. You can see that the level of weed control achieved in this glyphosate tolerant weed control system is excellent, keeping in mind that most of the pigweed at this site is susceptible to post-emergence PPO inhibiting herbicides. As you pan right and look at your plot on the right, this is also the glyphosate tolerant weed control system that received no pre-emergence herbicide at planting, and then received that foliar application of glyphosate plus a PPO inhibiting herbicide 23 days after planting. You notice that this treatment is a complete failure compared to the system on the left where you incorporated your pre-emergence residual herbicide application. In the glyphosate tolerant weed control system where we sprayed that PPO inhibiting herbicide post-emergence, we have reduced our canopy size here, therefore limiting the benefit that we get from canopy closure compared to the Roundup Ready to Extend weed control system. Weed scientists in the mid-southern United States often recommend laying down a pre-emergence herbicide at planting in our soybean weed control systems and follow that with an effective post-emergence application about 21 days after planting. In fact, Dr. Jason Bond with Mississippi State University, who does a lot of his research not far from this location, will tell growers to utilize that effective pre-emergence herbicide and mark your calendars for 21 days after planting to make your post-emergence application. Following his instructions at this site would have led to very effective weed control regardless of the technology platform that you selected. Now let's take a quick look at the Roundup Ready to Extend weed control system. The 4 rows that you're looking at currently on the left side of this plot received that 8-ounce application of Trivence at planting, followed by a post-emergence application of glyphosate plus fexapan 23 days after planting. You can see an excellent level of weed control there in that system. Comparatively, if you look at the right 4 rows, you notice that we've been able to beat back these weeds, get a significant level of control, a level of control much better than in the glyphosate only weed control system where we were relying on PPO inhibiting herbicides for our post-emergence control option. Have gotten good control, but the soybeans have suffered extensive competition, weed competition, lack of canopy development, and even if we control these weeds with this system, we've lost yield potential in this system. So once again, here's another system where the most effective weed control was achieved, where you laid down that pre-emergence herbicide at planting and followed with a an effective post-emergence option somewhere around 3 weeks after planting. At this site, we are also showcasing Liberty Link weed control systems with Pioneer genetics. And just like with the Roundup Ready 2 Extend weed control system, where we applied 8 ounces of Trivence pre-emergence and followed with a timely post-emergence application of Liberty herbicide, we have achieved very good weed control. Comparatively, the 4 rows to the right received no pre-emergence herbicide application at planting, and we have not effectively controlled those weeds where we had to wait 23 days after planting to make this application. The same is true with your Enlist E3 herbicide system, where you've utilized a pre-emergence at planting herbicide followed by a post-emergence application of Enlist Duo 23 days after planting. The result is exceptional weed control and good canopy growth, whereby you're going to get a lot of weed control help and shading from a healthy canopy. Compare that to the same E3 system where your post-emergence application was made 23 days after planting and no pre-emergence herbicide was used at planting. Although we've offered exceptional control of this mat of weeds, we cannot recover from the competition effects of the weeds on this soybean crop. I did want to bring you back to this plot that we visited last week. This is your glyphosate tolerant weed control system that received no pre-emergence herbicide at planting. If you remember, we noted some concern that many of the weeds appeared that they were burned off at the top and that they would regrow. We also noted concern that many of the smaller weeds in the bottom of the canopy looked like they had not been covered and that they would recover. The left 2 rows of this plot represent that recovery in 1 week's time. So you've essentially gone from a treatment that looked like 90% control 1 week ago to having pigweed almost as large as the soybeans in the course of 1 week. The right 2 rows were treated with a follow-up or a sequential application of glyphosate plus another PPO inhibiting herbicide. The level of weed control in the right 2 rows is pretty darn good, but it is likely that we still will not control all of the pigweed in this plot. Additionally, we have put an awful lot of selection pressure on our PPO inhibiting herbicides because we've applied them not once but twice post-emergence in season in 1 growing season. It's easy to see at this demonstration site that the most effective weed control was achieved utilizing a pre-emergence herbicide at planting followed by an effective post-emergence herbicide application about 3 weeks after planting. That was true regardless of the herbicide technology platform, whether that was Roundup Ready 2 Extend, glyphosate tolerant, Liberty Link, or Enlist E3. All of those systems needed that pre-emergence at planting herbicide application to maximize the benefit of the system. If you would like to visit this site or more sites like it, please contact your local Pioneer sales professional for more information. Thanks again for joining us for this Growing Point Agronomy moment.
That concludes this Pioneer Growing Point Agronomy video podcast. Visit our page on pioneer.com and follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more agronomy insights.